Continuing on with the study of the significance of feast days, uh, mm, the third feast day is called First Fruits. And we know that in the Old Testament it talks about how the first of everything belongs to God. First apples, first oranges, first bananas, firstborn male son, first calf, male born, first duck, first goose, first whatever belong to God himself, Elohim. So, but there was at first fruits, the first thing to come up was the barley. The barley, the first swig of barley that came up, was marked, and just before it was ripe, it was cut down. This was presented to the temple. It went straight to the high priest, who took it before the altar and had a wave offering. So basically, they would hand it to him, and he would go wave it back and forth. I sat there and I studied first fruits and how the firstborn, and Yeshua is the firstborn among many, and people get that point. But I sat there and I looked at barley. Wait a minute. Not the wheat, not the first of oats, not the first of corn, or any other of the grains, as may be. And, well, what do you know? It was barley. And it came to my mind, nobody had really, in my life, focused on barley. Well, what's the significance of barley? I posted a video here this week on the significance of barley. Part of what the significance of barley is, it was food of the poor. So the barley offering represents the poor. The wheat would be the rich. Why was that taken into the Holy of Holies? Why was that waved above all? As I looked at the wheat and the other grains, as their price and value, they're considerably more than barley. Barley was cheap. Barley was plentiful. Barley had no value. As I contemplated on that, little or no value, I look at the poor of this nation, the poor of the world, and it hit me. While other people buy positions of power or authority through wealth or through knowledge, a poor man who becomes a leader in his community that bears the testimony of Elohim and Yeshua is the most prized before Yahweh. And that was why the barley was brought before the altar. It was quite an impact to me. For majority of my life, well, it's about 50-50, because I was almost into my 40s when my self-wealth began to evaporate. Up until then, I had good paying jobs. I had security, working for the government for 7 years. And when that went, I still maintained the wealth through other positions, but slowly but surely began to deteriorate. While I had my own wealth, I traveled more, had a nice car to travel more, not a Cadillac, as some of my brethren had, but had a reliable vehicle that took me from point A to point B, and I got to go around to many places. I toured the Moccasin Trail. I visited many First Nations ministers, became friends with many of them. As my income evaporated, it became more and more of a struggle, until here I am today. No car, no finances, broke before the Lord. Part of me still yearns for the road. I held on and fought as long as I could. But not having a vehicle nor the wherewithal to fix my vehicle, it's basically just a struggle to eat and keep a roof over my head. I still minister, still there for people, mostly on local value. Many of the brothers, anyway, who used to host me have retired, died, or gone on to other things. It'd be a start all over again for me, not to be known. So I'm not having wealth, and I can no longer attain things through knowledge. Just a humble man, still ministering out the words of God. Now that doesn't mean that I'm perfect. I have my struggles, have my vices, have my issues. But it does seem it's about the time the voice of God is needed. And people need to hear that. I'm there. As unworthy as I am, with no thing about me, with nothing of value, allow myself to be waved before the altar of the Elohim. If you're listening to this voice, I pray that it inspires you, no matter how difficult your situation is, how much of a struggle you're going through, to rise up like the prize of barley. Much like barley, our Master took no form that any man should recognize him. He wasn't tall, he wasn't handsome, he wasn't of big build, he didn't flash any wealth. He just simply was there for the people. True servants of Yahweh hold to that truth. Without asking for money, I don't need $1 billion offering. I don't need fancy planes, huge mansions, servants. And at 62 years of age, going on 63, there's a part of me that still says, Danny, you're young. I'm still a fool. A plundering idiot. So in a word, of kindness is shed toward me, saying, "You're a man of wisdom, you're a man of great report, you're a man of stature." It puzzles me. Why? Why do you feel that about me? I am just me. I have my pluses and my minuses, my strengths and my weaknesses, my ups and my downs. I struggle with depression. And some days it's just hard enough to get out of bed, let alone keep on going. And still that still small drum beat pounds itself out. And I take a deep breath. Here, my Lord, send me. I'm an old man, tired, foolish to think that they would even spend 5 seconds to listen to this voice. But send me. If it's your will, send me. I pray that each person listening to this will take the time to view. I thank you. I spent so much time trying to build my ratings. I don't want to be famous. Don't want to be popular. I don't care if anybody knows about Daniel anymore. Just don't. What's the point? You have them. You have the Benny Hinns, the Billy Grahams, Oral Roberts, Rex Humbards, all these great men, C.F. Dollar, all these great men. You'll flock to Todd Beverly. You go to the hordes. But when you're hurt and crushed, and you're smashed to smithereens, and you're flat broke because you've been a fool and thrown away your money, uselessness, because they don't have time for you, and put on a big show for you, and I'm not well liked because I'm not a big show, I'm not a star, I'm just me. And in the end, broken and contrite, you come back. And you go, "Well, what can I do, Daniel?" And I look at you and I say, "I'd like to help you. I can't. Because I am a man just like you. But let me take you and introduce you to my best friend, my father, my guide, my instructor, my best buddy, bosom pal, Yeshua. And he will show you the way. And he will give you the truth. And he will restore to you life everlasting. May you all be sheaves of barley before the altar of the mighty Elohim.